So you alluded to the differences between springers and cockers. What would you say are the main differences from a gun dog training point of view?
The cocker's probably got a long list, to be fair. I absolutely love cockers. I do. I absolutely love cockers. And out of the two of them, cockers has still probably got the edge for me. Don't ask me why. People will probably think I'm crazy because, but springers probably are a bit more. They're not like labs, but they are in a way. They've kind of like, I think the last one that you did with Mordor Gundogs, he described a Springer perfectly. They've kind of got that off switch that a lab's got, but they've got that drive to hunt and they've got that drive to work with you a little bit more. Whereas cockers, they love you, you are their world, but they also want to do what they want to do. And most of the time, they will get it wrong. So they're just desperate. So for example, if you threw a retrieve out and they hadn't marked it properly, a lot of the time they're just desperate to get anything. Like they're just like, oh, I'll just bring you something, I don't know what it is, and they'll just like they'll get to that point. The other thing I would say specifically with my cockers as well is they're a lot more sassy than springers. They've got a lot more to say, but they are fun and they're a bit busier when they get going and stuff. Whereas springers, and I've found with River, have just been a bit like they're easier. Probably not easier to some people, but for me, she's been a lot easier. I've probably done it the right way, having two cockers and then going to a springer, because they are different. But no, cockers still have the edge for me, but they do make you want to tear your hair out a little bit more than a springer would, definitely.
What about the use of placeboards? You use them with River, but not the other two, and you say it's something you regret.
Yes, so not everybody likes placeboards, but I just wanted to use one with River to really nail in those foundations a lot quicker. I think when it comes to placeboards as well, if you're teaching a sit or a stay or anything like that, the dog sort of clicks on quicker what it is that you want, because then when you gradually take that placeboard away, they're like, oh, it's the same thing that we learned on the board. And they've got that physical parameter around them. So if they put their foot down or their paw down, they know that they've gone over that barrier. It's a bit like a gate. Dogs aren't stupid. If you've got a baby gate in your house and you've told the dog not to come over it, they know when they've come over that threshold that they've been told not to come over. And it's sort of the same as a placeboard. Like, the placeboard just really helps to simplify everything. I wouldn't say they're for everybody. Some people don't like to use them. But if you are looking, I would say if you're looking to be a little bit more gentler with your training approach, a placeboard can be a great tool, because it's easier to just, if your dog's meant to be staying and it's come off the board, it's easier to just pick them up and put them back on the board than it is to remember where you actually had them in the first place. So it's just easier for their learning and for yours to be able to break things down. It also means that you can teach that the board is a great place to be. So you can, when they're puppies, you can feed them on the board, you can give them treats, you can actually put their bowl on there just so that they understand that that's a great place to be. So I think with River, it's really helped in terms of really being able to move up those steps a little bit faster than it had with the cockers. And it just means she doesn't push any boundaries. So I know now at 15 months, if I leave River in the middle of a field and I say stay, I can walk really far away and she will still stay where she is. Whereas the cockers, if I say stay, I can go to a certain distance, and then if I go a little bit further than that distance, they'll stand up and look at me and try and find me a little bit more. Whereas River's quite confident in the fact that she's been told, no, I'm going to come back, you just need to stay where you are. Whereas the cockers are like, something's different here, because Mum's gone a bit further than she normally would. So that's the daily battle I sometimes have with the cockers, is I have to work out where their area is and where I can push them. But I have retaught Lady and Ginger how to be on a placeboard, and it has helped them in certain areas as well, because they again have understood quite quickly they've got a barrier there and they can't come off it. So I would always recommend a placeboard now, and it's something I will always use in my training, but they're not necessarily for everybody, but they will help to solidify things a little bit easier for the dogs.